We are discussing Daniel Heath Justice and his explanation of storytelling. Now, I just finished this section. I'm going to jump over to Leslie Marmon Silko, one of my heroes who has ADHD, just like I do. Um, and she jumps around a lot when she talks, just like I do. But we won't go there. There is something I love. There is a quote. It says here that Leslie Marmon Silko, who is a brilliant storyteller in her own right and poet, she discusses the importance of story, and she talks about that there are evil stories and there are good stories. One of my favorite books is this one, Ceremony, and I believe it was published in 1977. Leslie Marmon Silko is a Laguna from the Pueblo down there in the Four Corners area where it's hot and dry, but it also snows in the winter. Now, when she talks about stories, she says some stories do damage, some stories heal, some stories have power. All the different kinds of stories. There's sad stories, happy stories. I'm going to pull up on page 2 of this book of Ceremony and just read the very first part. Are you ready? Ceremony. I will tell you something about stories, he said. They aren't just entertainment. Don't be fooled. They are all we have, you see. All we have to fight off illness and death. You don't have anything if you don't have the stories. Their evil is mighty, but it can't stand up to our stories. So they try to destroy the stories. Let the stories be confused or forgotten. They would like that. They would be happy because we would be defenseless then. He rubbed his belly. I keep them here, he said. Here, put your hand on it. See, it is moving. There is life here for the people. And in the belly of this story, the rituals and the ceremony are still growing. That's not bad. I like that. This book, Ceremony, by the way, how much time do we have? I'm already fooling around. I'm supposed to be out of here by 6:10. We already chatted for 3 minutes and 19 seconds. This one reason why I bring this book up is one of my favorites is because, as you know, I'm always yakking about being a veteran, Native American veteran. Really quick, did you know that of all the ethnicities in the United States and Canada, Native peoples are 5 times more likely to serve their country in the military than all the others? 5 times more. Imagine that. So, how do I get off on this goofy subject? Well, a lot of times when we go and join the military, we're serving the Washichu, the Chmokmanuk, the Suyepis, and it does damage to us. And we come back with PTSD. And this is what happens in this book, Ceremony. The main character, Tayo, he comes back from World War II fighting against Japan in the Pacific. And he's coming back, and he's got PTSD, something horrible. And he's coming back to the res, you see, and he sees some Japanese people in America, and he's like freaks out, and he's always got the jitters and whatever other kind of weird symptoms. He vomits a lot, and he's feeling terrible and sick all the time. And so the elders send him to get healed and medicine ceremonies. Now, he's got some fellow military people that he served with, but they turn out to have their own stories, and their stories are damaging and causing even more problems because they picked up the negative stories from their service in the military. Whereas Tayo, the hero of our book, he's suffering from PTSD so badly that he needs some good stories, you see. Hang on for a sec. I got to take a sip of my page. One of my addictions I picked up when I was serving in the military. So, this book, when I talked to Leslie Marmon Silko in person, I told her thank you for writing this book, because this book, even though it's a work of fiction, Leslie Marmon Silko Ceremony, if you follow along and you really get into it, this is especially for you Native veterans out there, you really get into it, you sit, you can see through Tayo's eyes. You are sitting in his seat. You are right there with him every step of the way, and the book becomes a ceremony. The stories that are told in the book actually heal you. Because again, when I got out of the military, I also had PTSD. No, I didn't see war, but I saw other weird things, and we won't get into it right now because I don't want to talk about me, I all the time. Now, we're going to stay focused. We're talking about literature and the power of story. The power of story, according to Leslie Marmon Silko, has the power to heal. By the way, an adversary in that story, in the novel, is a guy named Emo. He's always telling all these terrible, raunchy war stories about how he was getting busy with prostitutes and stuff. And that makes Tayo, our hero, a little bit feeling worse. And finally, the elders send him to a healing ceremony with a lot of storytelling, and it helps him. And he rises out of the ashes of the mess that the U.S. military did to him. Okay. Go back to Daniel Heath Justice for a minute. And this is on pages 42 to 43. He talks about water lily and indigenous didactics. I don't have enough time to get into it deeply. How are we doing on time anyway? I bet you I'm already up to 8 minutes again. Nope, 7 minutes and 36 seconds. So, what do we want to say about this indigenous didactics? Stories that teach children and community members about the proper behavior, ethics, and social norms, sometimes called cautionary tales. I would say the Chmok Manuk, the Washichu call them cautionary tales. I like indigenous didactics better. The stories that teach people how to behave, good versus bad. I'm going to tell you this one about the soft-headed people, which is related to the story of the Cherokee origins of disease. But I like the one told by Michael Simpson, who is Coos Yakima, and I think part Cherokee as well. So, I'm going to do that in my next section. Are you ready? Here we go. I'm going to stop it here. Thank you so much. Talk to you in the next video.